Okay, welcome to the Mantis Budgeter tutorial video. I don't have a ton of time to edit a nice, concise video, so I'm just going to talk really fast and freestyle it. So here we go. So how to do the Mantis Budgeter. This is version 1.1. There's been a bunch of changes. It's been ongoing for several years. A lot of people are using it. It's great. Okay, here's what you do. Why do you want this? You want this because you don't want Mint, because Mint is a disaster and you don't have a lot of control over everything. Anyway, here's what you do. Step one, come to your budget tab. You come over here, you name your different accounts. Let's say you have this is your checking account, you have different cards, you give those names. There are little tooltips with the little black arrow that show you what these things mean and what you're doing. Okay, go in here, don't mess with this. Go in here and name all the things that matter. I like to divide them up like this. You can divide them up however you want. I mean, you can make them bold and delete them. You don't have to do any of this. You can arrange it however you like. The main thing is organize it, figure it out, and then tag it as an income or an expense. And then you come over here, you can put payment notes, which means, stuff like due on the 31st, but not every month has the 31st, so jokes on them. And then you can come over here and you can decide how much you make in January. So let's just make up some numbers real quick. And you'll notice that it auto-populates. Oops. You'll notice that it auto-populates all the way across, but you don't have to do that. You can just delete one of these if you like, and then say you know you're not going to get paid that month for some reason. You can just do that. Okay, so let's say you make $500 a month on your side hustle. Missed income, you don't know. That's just a whatever. Let's say rent is $1,000. That's pretty steep. Utilities are 100. Internet's 30. This is a bad number usually, but let's put that here. Now let's say, for example, you only pay for Amazon Prime and it's once, it's however much it is once a year. You just put it on the month that it shows up and not any of the other months, okay? So how much are we budgeting for the rest of these things? Let's say you spend $50 on gas. Let's say you spend $300 on groceries. We like to give discretionary money for ourselves, which means you just get that much to spend every month and you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so here's a made up thing. It's going to show you your income total for every month, your expected expense total for every month, and then the difference. So, and then your totals for the year. You'll make this much, you'll save this much. Obviously, this is all made up. Here's your averages, here's your totals. Good for you, you're doing well. You just put that much in savings. Now, if you want to set things aside for savings, then you can say, let's put $200 aside for savings every month. It is going to, this tooltip explains more, it is going to take this out of, it's going to count as an expense here. But when we come to the overview page over here, it's going to count it as savings. So don't worry about that. You can read the tooltip if that doesn't make sense. We're going to come back to that page in a second. So step one, you fill out your budget. Step two, you come down here to your transaction things. And this is so if this was your debit, you go to your bank account, you download a CSV or a comma delineated, what is this called? Comma delineated, however you spell delineated. And you download that file, you copy and you paste the data from your bank account download into here. Do not paste in the green cells. And it'll automatically convert everything over. I have put some random spacers in here because that's how my bank's output has it, but you can expand or change or delete those and however it's most convenient for you to paste things in. Okay, so you paste it in and then you get all this unsorted crap. You don't know what to do. Here's where the Mantis Budgeter shines. So first month, you're going to go through and you're going to automate things. And you're looking at this description, the hash that the bank outputs. Okay, the landlord's name. So let's say every time your landlord's name comes up, you're going to categorize that as rent. And bada bing, it's categorized as rent. You can also drop down from here and grab any of these categories. These categories are automatically created from this list. And they're automatically over here. You can drop them down so that way if you accidentally typed it wrong, it's going to flag it with a little red thing, and then it's going to be like, that's not a thing that's on this list. It'll just let you know that, but you should spell things correctly. Okay, so boom, that's rent. And then you kind of go through here and say, oh, Trader Joe's. We always go to Trader Joe's. So Trader Joe's. Whoops. You see what I mean? Okay, so that's grocery. And boom, both of these show up as grocery. So Verizon, right here, right? Verizon, that's going to be internet, let's say. And then it automatically flags it as internet. So this is an auto tagger. So as you go through every month, you're going to just copy paste in the things that your bank spits out at you, go through and check each one, and then build this whole category tagging system. And over time, you'll have to tag less and less things, assuming you kind of do mostly the same kind of sorts of things. So Pizza Land, I don't know why that's a hyperlink. Let's say that's date money. No, that's not a thing. Let's say I take my wife out. Boom. Automatically, every time Pizza Land showed up, it's been categorized as my date discretionary money. Now, or my discretionary money. Excuse me. Now, notice, you don't have to have everything the same. This is Pizza Land on the corner of some other place. This is Pizza Land on the corner of 14th and Main. When we pop this in, so let's delete this, and it goes back to unsorted. But when we say, hey, it's Pizza Land, it's going to find everywhere that's Pizza Land and tag all of them. So that's helpful because generally that's how you pay for things. So Arco, that's gas money. Boom, both Arcos went away. And tire store. So this was an unexpected thing. Usually I like to have, oops, we won't put it in here. Usually it's always good to put a MISC expenses category so that you know what is going on when things go wrong. So here is an unexpected thing, and we'll just put that as, whoops, careful, there's a formula there, people. So you come down here, let's just do it by hand. Okay, come down here, MISC expenses. Now, when I do this, the formula goes away. So it may be that you do a bunch of these by hand. That's totally fine. If you want to get the formula back, you just grab this and you drag it up to where you want it to be, and it repopulates everything. Then, of course, you have to do this back again. Now, here's something ambiguous. Blah, blah, bill pay, microcorp. You don't know what this is. So you got to go through and do it by hand. Maybe that, who knows what that was. Probably MISC expenses. Okay. And so some of these you're going to do by hand, but say you don't know what this is and you want to ask your spouse, what the hell is this? So you just leave it as unsorted and then you click flag. And if it flags it red, if it's not already flagged, let's say it was utilities, but you want it flagged, you flag it. Then you can come back and talk about it later. If things are business expenses, you can just mark them. We had that over here. Things are business expenses. Sometimes you need to know this because you run some kind of side hustle thing. Let's say you want to say, oh, my internet is going to be a business expense because I work from home. You tag it there. Then when you come over here, oh, look, internet, Verizon, we own you. Already tagged as a business expense. It automatically checks this box for you, and then there's another place in the spreadsheet where it adds all of those things up. So do this for all of your transactions. This is for Visa. This is for your Amex, etc., etc., and then it automatically tags all these things and sorts them into categories. So here's the breakdown. You don't touch this. It just automatically creates this sheet, and you can see you expected to make this much. You actually made this. Oh, whoops, we didn't make any. We didn't make any. So let's say we had, let's just pretend we made money on this day. So what would this be? Mafia dues. Well, not dues, right? Mafia income. So you work for the Mafia. Good for you. So then you say Mafia, and you say my day job. I work for the Mafia. Boom, automatically sorted. Okay, so when we come into the breakdown, it says, oh, you expected to make this much. You did make this much. Difference is 0. Great. Wife didn't get paid this month. That's a problem. You have to look into that. Side hustle made no money. So, and that's all just because it's not logged in here, but you can log that. Okay, so when the breakdown populates itself automatically, it all shows up on the year overview, which is the great part. So this is built, graphs and charts, you can see what's actually going on, which is great. This is built on sort of a business model of quarterly totals. So with cash flow. So you expected that you would have this much of a difference. Actually, there was this much of a difference, meaning you made this much extra money. Now, we didn't log these yet, so this is inaccurate, but you can kind of get a sense of projected and actual. This is going down because we're not making money. Somebody's not making money this month here. Wife doesn't make money during May for some reason. Okay, that's going to show up on here. So you get a sense of all these things. Now let's say that your discretionary money, you want to know how much you've spent and how much is rolling over. This is a little rollover thing. It'll tell you you had this much to spend, you spent only this much, so you have this much extra, blah blah blah. This will show your business expenses, $50 for this month. All good. You can figure that out. Okay, what's the last thing you need to know about this? Well, this is the new feature for version 1.1, which is Amazon. So what you're gonna do is if you get something over here and it's blah blah blah, however much money, let's say you spent $300 on something. We're just gonna make up a date here. And you look at this and you go, oh, that's Amazon. So how it usually shows up on your bank account is AMZ or AMZN or something like that. You just put AMZN and you put it as Amazon, not Amazon Prime, and it'll categorize that, but it will not be part of your budget thing, which is correct. Don't do that. So why not? Because we have a separate thing for Amazon that allows you to. So Amazon has a great spreadsheet outputter thing where it will give you extensive details on every purchase you've ever made in a nice little spreadsheet, way better than any bank I've used. You grab that, you paste in here just like your other transactions. And there's a lot of excessive, what would you call it? Like categories for things: the seller name, the price, those are the normal things that you need. But there's all kinds of other variables for each Amazon seller that I've put these spaces in here so that you can paste them in and only see the relevant ones, but you're gonna have to play with that a little bit. It should come out correctly though. Okay, why are we talking about this? Because if you come to Amazon, let's say you order a big pile of fresh bananas, you can use the normal search term thing here, right? Let's delete that, unsorted. So you say like, okay, so whenever we buy bananas, it's a grocery thing. Boom, groceries, good for you. But let's say you do this all the time. Here's a trick. So let's say on Amazon you can make multiple separate addresses. So you could do, I'm just going to use this as a scratch pad area. So let's say you have your name on Amazon and that's your address, but you can also make multiple addresses and have them like that. So you could just have it shipped to you as your name grocery. Help if we spelled discretionary right, but you get the idea. So you can make a bunch of separate addresses to yourself on Amazon and then select which one you want to use, even if it's to the same address. Why would you do this? Because it helps you categorize things. So here we go. Come over here, you say whenever you see this address, categorize it as grocery. So that means whenever so let's say that was the shipping address. This is gone, but it still shows up as grocery because, see, it's gone, and then we say that's grocery. So boom, groceries, meaning you can cut out a whole step of coming out over here and doing all this by hand or creating search terms if you create a bunch of extra addresses on Amazon for your major categories and then select those addresses when you go to order the thing. And then you just put in which addresses you want in here, or if it's like this, then you can do that, and whenever it sees her name as the buyer, then it'll show up on there. So this is a way to cut out a whole step on Amazon, so that way things are much more automated. So play with that. Everything is to be played with. I guess there's only one other thing to say, which is that when let's say you have a debit account and then you have your credit card here, if you have a transaction here where it's just you paying off the credit card over here, don't just mark those as mark them as transfer or whatever you want to call it. That way you don't double bill yourself, if that makes sense. Because if you're counting it here when you pay the Visa and then you counting it over here again when you get paid on the Visa, it's going to screw up the number. So just count it as transfer, because anything that's here that has a little red thing isn't getting counted on the breakdown sheet. It's not getting counted. And you might need to use that strategy in these cases where you don't want things double counted, which is the last thing about Amazon because it has this account reconciliation thing. So $300 were spent according to this. You spent $300 on Amazon, but over here you've only logged $50 of Amazon. So this is sort of an account reconciliation to say, hey, you got $350 of unlogged Amazon things. Make sure that these things match up. So that's going to alert you to make sure everything's going well. Okay, that is basically it. So overview quickly. Make your budget. Put in your numbers. Then you come over here and every month you just paste your thing from your bank and you make up categories and search terms that fit all the search terms here, so they're automatically tagged. When it does that, it automatically creates the sheet to break down everything that you spent every month, the difference between it, and then you get this nice shiny overview thing at the end that shows you everything that you're doing, everything per quarter, and your total cash flow, and all that kind of stuff. So you can plan ahead, you can plan for inconsistent incomes, as long as you sort of strategically mark out places where like you're going to miss money here, you're only going to spend this on this month, etc., etc. And that's it. That is the Mantis Budgeter, very quickly and unstructured. There will be more changes coming, as always. And especially to this is new, so based on whatever feedback you guys give me, we'll continue editing this functionality. Until then, thank you for using the Mantis. I hope that you are making good life choices, saving money, paying off debt, and winning the game. Goodbye.